Sorry to interrupt, but this is my show after all. Have you ever found yourself watching television and wished that there was less going on? Well, you're in luck. On my rather slow vacation where I've been kayaking around, I thought I'd talk about the most delightfully boring genre of television. Slow TV. Hi, I'm Dylan, and this is Not Exactly Normal. While the Scandinavian peninsula is famous for their gritty crime novels, they aren't their only major cultural export. And their other one is in a bit of a different genre. Slow Shots of Trains, the TV show.
Det også lavvinservering og en menykafévogn som befinner seg mellom vogn 445 og 446.
Many of these shows can only be streamed in certain countries, which is why when I watch slow TV, I use Atlas VPN. Here in Canada, we don't have access to watch these same shows that they have in other countries, so if you want to watch the latest slow TV trek through Svalbard or any other geo-blocked shows, then Atlas VPN is right for you. And right now, their 3-year deal is massively discounted at just $1.39 per month. It's also super easy to use. All you have to do is open the Atlas VPN app, select your country, open Netflix, Disney Plus, or any other streaming service, and you're good to go. Atlas VPN is a tool that encrypts your data and hides your virtual location. When you connect to a VPN server, your device is given a new IP and DNS address. All of the traffic is encrypted and routed towards the VPN server. When the traffic arrives, the VPN server decrypts the information and allows the traffic to access the desired destination. It sounds complex, but it's very straightforward to use. Another super useful tool is their data breach monitor. It will scan the internet to see if your email has ended up on any recorded data breaches and will notify you if you're at risk and need to change your password. Atlas VPN is available on any device you have, and they have a 30-day money-back guarantee for all subscription purchases. Be sure to click the link in the description to sign up for just $1.39 a month for their 3-year deal. It won't last long, so make sure you check it out. And now, back to the kayak.
You've probably heard of slow TV before. It got super popular a few years ago when Norway's Public Broadcasting Corporation, I guess, ran out of money and what must have been on a lark said, hey, I think Sven left the camera rolling when he was shooting Dragon Tattoo. Yes, I know that was Sweden. Why don't we just put that on television?
We will arrive at Haugesund Station in 5 to 6 minutes.
The whole thing actually started as a joke between two producers, but ended up being a massive cultural sensation.
Thomas Hellum, one of the creators, recalls, "It's a very slow train and takes 7.5 hours. One of us suggested filming the whole thing and putting it on TV, and we all laughed." In a world where so-called content was getting faster and shorter, the idea of airing a 7-hour uncut train ride was outlandish. Yet, somehow it happened. And the weird part? People loved it. The documentary was created to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Bergen Railway, and the production filmed the point of view of a train as it went from Bergen to Oslo. The whole journey took about 7.5 hours.
There were no commercial breaks, it was an unbroken timeline, and there was nothing left on the cutting room floor.
The program greatly surpassed expectations and drew a total of 1.2 million viewers throughout the broadcast. Roughly 20% of the population of Norway tuned in. In primetime, it did particularly well, drawing 250,000 viewers between 10 and 11 p.m., up from an average of about 33,000 on a normal night.
The program gained international attention, and soon the NRK had a massive success on their hands, and so they hit repeat every year for the past decade. Soon they expanded beyond trains.
In 2011, they filmed the coastal voyage from Bergen to Kirkenes on a cruise ship. This production was broadcast live and ran for 134 straight hours. Approximately half the population of Norway tuned in at one point or another to follow the journey, not to mention all the people that showed up in person.
While I joke about these documentaries being boring, I actually think they're pretty awesome, and it's no surprise to me that they've done so well. The reason? Norway is a beautiful country that COVID canceled my trip to. Let's take a second to see all the places where I would have gone. I photoshopped myself in for realism.
Here I am on Pulpit Rock. Here I am watching the Northern Lights in Tromsø. Here I am eating bacalao in Ålesund.
And here I am kayaking through the fjords around Balestrand. Oh wait. And so it's not really a surprise to me that a live broadcast of one of the most beautiful cruises in the world was a hit. But beauty alone isn't the reason for its success. Part of the appeal of slow TV is that you can leave it on in the background as a comfort, but you can also check in on it after you've been away for a while. So you can go to work, come home, do you remember that? And then check in to see where the train is. The cool thing about slow TV is that much more so than in any other genre, the viewer is the one deciding what's interesting and what they're going to focus on. While it's not as freeform as 360 video or even a video game, as the producers are still deciding which camera to cut to, it's like watching a sunset at the beach. You decide what part of the vista you're going to focus on. These broadcasts were also a massive shared experience for the nation. It gave something for people to come together and watch, but by its very nature, being so long that you probably wouldn't see the whole thing, it allowed individuals to have different experiences that they could share with their friends. Oh my god, did you see that cow? The cow is a big deal.
The live broadcast of the cruise introduced a participatory element, as thousands of Norwegians gathered in the ports to see off and greet the ship. Many followed along in their own boats, waved flags from shore, water skied in Borat thongs alongside the ship, and the Queen of Norway even showed up to wave to the cameras. Slow TV became about a community celebrating their national heritage by seeing places, and now people, that were important to them.
Around the world, producers and broadcasters got full-on $sign b***ers by seeing how much money they could save by hitting record and going home. You're telling me people will pay to watch a single 7-hour shot? We don't need Dragon's Meth or Hilary Duff? Of course, YouTubers who wanted to make their own slow TVs started to freak out about having to seamlessly start and stop their camera every 29 minutes. That's a little camera joke for you. Did you know it was a tax thing? Soon the market was flooded with mimics that no one really asked for.
Of course, there were the many literal knockoffs, showcasing beautiful train routes in Finland, Spain, Australia, New Zealand, and many more.
And then there are the less interesting ones.
In 2015, Russia aired a collective reading of War and Peace in its 60-hour entirety. It's a lot of fun, if you're into War and Peace. If you're not, well, it's War and Peace.
Антихрист, я вас больше не знаю. Вы уж не друг мой, вы уж не мой верный раб, как вы говорите.
In 2017, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Finland aired a 12-hour live stream of a checkout counter in a grocery store.
Germany, in typical fashion, aired a slow TV series about making things. They were part how it's made, part that guy on YouTube who makes stuff without stuff. Prehistoric something? Tools? Prehistoric... I don't know the second half.
It's called primitive technology.
Ah, thank you, Future Dylan. Prehistoric. Still don't know what it is.
And in 2019, the Chicago Transit Authority streamed a series of real-time journeys on the L train. It's a pretty wild time.
But none of these broadcasts stuck in the cultural zeitgeist the way NRKs did, and it's not hard to see why. Many producers totally misunderstood what was so appealing about the broadcast of the train in Norway. It's a train in Norway, not a dude laying bricks.
It's the story of the journey through one of the most beautiful places in the world that sparked people's national pride and got the community involved in a massive shared experience. People's interest didn't all of a sudden change. We weren't all suddenly down to watch 12 hours of food on a conveyor belt.
NRK also had the novelty of being the first big slow TV show.
Suddenly, when there's 100 other slow TV shows and the format isn't unique, you lose that massive shared interest.
But the other element that hasn't helped is YouTube. With broadcast, even if you're the 20th slow TV show, you still have to go fairly broad and appeal in order to rate. But on YouTube, niche is king.
And so many of the people who were into slow TV when it was on broadcast suddenly were able to find a niche of slow TV that was more appealing to their own particular interests. And there's only so many times that the country can get excited about coming together to be featured on camera in their Borat thongs.
But the train through Norway is far from the first example of slow TV. It's not even the first slow TV about trains.
In the mid-2000s in Germany, Deutsche Bahn ran the exact same concept on a TV channel called Bahn TV, which ran programs like Bahn TV and Fahrt, which similarly featured a point of view of a train traveling through various lines in Germany, France, and Austria.
As a local plug, my favorite slow TV show also serves as a bit of a time capsule, which gives it a bit more appeal in 2021.
In the 80s, Global, here in Toronto, in the wee hours of the night, instead of airing test patterns, they for some amazing reason decided to air a point of view of someone walking and in a subsequent episode driving through Toronto at night. all set to super mellow jazz. They only ever did 4 episodes, called Night Walk, Night Ride, and Night Moves, and they ran them every single night for 7 years.
They're a pretty good time.
A similar program has run overnight on NTV in Newfoundland and Labrador going back to the early 90s. It's called Scenes of Newfoundland and features, and now this might shock you, scenes of Newfoundland.
Probably the earliest iteration of what we would call slow TV comes from Andy Warhol, whose early experiments with film gave us the 5-hour and 21-minute film titled Sleep, which features a man sleeping for 5 hours and 21 minutes. I hadn't seen this film since high school, and it has a fair bit more nudity than I remembered. Not too much, like a good amount of nudity.
The film was released in 1964 and is comprised of a series of looped shots of a man sleeping.
And later he would produce Empire, an 8-hour shot of the Empire State Building, which, if you ask me, doesn't quite have the sex appeal of sleep. Today, arguably the most popular genre of slow TV is off-broadcast.
Here on YouTube, there is a slow TV niche for every possible genre. There's a guy who spreads jam on toast, there's slow apartment tours, someone doing laundry, chickens eating in a field, kittens playing with toys, carrots being washed, birds and squirrels feasting on nuts in a sleigh, and pretty much anything else you can think of. There are also countless variations of one of the earliest versions of slow TV, the 1966 broadcast of the Yule log, including a few that I made. Yes, I used to make slow TV.
Unlike traditional broadcasted slow TV, the demographic for YouTube slow TV isn't exclusively humans. They're made to entertain your animals while you're not at home. Unfortunately, whenever Gus sees an animal on TV, he tries to play with it, or look behind the TV to see where it is. Which, on second thought, might not actually be a bad thing, because I have been looking for an excuse to upgrade to a 4K TV. Some of the Norwegian slow TV shows ran for days, but that's nothing compared to the longest running slow TV series of all time. It's been running since 2005, non-stop.
It's a webcast called Watching Grass Grow that has been a continuous live feed of Alec Kormaninski's or Mr. Grass's Front Lawn that's been going on for 16 straight years. The website is a pure nostalgia trip, containing not only the live stream of his yard, but also GIFs straight out of the 90s and an 8-bit version of the Rocky theme. It's pretty funky.
So what should I talk about next? Please let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe for new episodes of Not Exactly Normal in a Kayak as often as I can make them. Thanks for watching. See ya. I don't know if it'll be in a kayak again.
And while I have you, just as a response to all the comments about how slow I am to make new episodes, I thought I would share my own slow TV show. Me slowly editing this episode. Enjoy. Hello?